We're still in Hollywood, and we're going to go back to 1945 for this short program. From February 1945, here is Hollywood Dateline.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Irwin Allen speaking from Hollywood, California, and bringing you the top Hollywood news stories of the day. First, page 1, column 1. Dateline, Hollywood. Hollywood had itself a slight heart attack when word hit the wires that Betty Hutton had collapsed as a result of food poisoning. The blonde bombshell was reported out of danger just 2 hours after doctors went to work. On the same medical bulletin, but much more on the cheerful side, is the news that Ward Bond, who narrowly escaped death in an auto accident almost a year ago, returns to the screen after an absence of at least that long. Ward still wears a plaster lake cast, but typical of hard-hearted Hollywood, they wrote both Ward and the bad leg into the picture. He's already started work on MGM's production. They were expendable. Meanwhile, in Washington, the senator from North Dakota found time in the midst of running a war to call upon the Department of Justice to conduct an investigation and determine whether Charlie Chaplin should be deported as an undesirable alien. Senator Langer based his action on the recent stories out of Hollywood about the comedian. Comment from either Chaplin or his attorneys here in Hollywood was unavailable. Less busy was Dan Cubitt, who found that Uncle Sam had a first priority on love. All of which means that the chances are better than good that Myrna Loy will not marry Captain Gene Markey until he's out of the Navy. Hardly as romantic, but much more profitable, are the latest findings from the office of Dr. George Gallup. The good doctor who has turned doorbell ringing into a major industry has just made public his latest findings. According to his report, Bing Crosby and Greg Gosson are America's favorite actor and actress, and Going My Way is America's favorite motion picture. On a train from New York City is one Humphrey Bogart. On the way back after leaving his co-star and Bogart-designated fiancée, Lauren Bacall, in New York. Bogey, the movie tough guy, went to New York some 3 weeks ago, you remember, and announced he was going to wed Miss Bacall when his wife, Mayo Mayfield Bogart, had divorced him. Miss Bacall, arriving shortly afterward, upset the apple cart by saying she had not even been asked for her hand in marriage. Page 2, column 1, the story behind the story. Tonight's edition, the Academy Awards. Barry Fitzgerald, a little man with bushy eyebrows, a jutting chin and a perpetual twinkle, and an accent about as thick as his native island's fogs, is beginning to grow a bit nervous. Just about a month from now, he's scheduled to put on his best suit and brave the crowd at Grauman's Chinese Theater to receive the Academy Award. Of course, it isn't really official yet. The votes haven't even been cast, but it's just as certain as tomorrow's sunrise that Fitzgerald will win an Oscar for his work in the picture Going My Way. As a matter of fact, he may even win 2. For an precedent-shattering action, he was nominated both for the Best Starring Performance of last year and also for the top supporting role. I interviewed Barry the other day, and as he told it to us, I quote him, "I don't know why they put my name up in both categories. I'd be just as happy over the supporting role trophy as the other, and I'd really like to see Bing Crosby get the top prize." Fitzgerald said it's a good thing he's not very superstitious, or he'd begin to feel he hasn't a chance to take the award. That is, with everyone assuring him he's already in the bag. As he put it, "I'm getting a bit excited about it for a nervous man." In all the years he's been in Hollywood, Barry Fitzgerald has never attended an Academy Award function, and he asked me if it'd be necessary to dress. He was very much relieved to hear that it just wouldn't be necessary. Good, he said. "I do have a tuxedo somewhere, but I'll be uncomfortable enough that night without having to get into one." And now page 3, tonight's edition of the Woman's Page. Page 4, Hollywood's daily dose of hysterical hijinks. Tonight's edition, death by appointment. Out at the Goldwyn Studios, they're shooting something called 10 Little Indians. Before the picture ends, at least 8 of the principal characters will have met horrible deaths. The bumping off business already has gotten underway. Someone came on the set the other day and told director Rennie Clare that the radio had just broadcast the news that Misha Auer had broken his leg while chasing a prowler over the back fence. Misha, you know, is one of the actors in the cast who already have gone to their screen deaths. The director expressed his regret over the news, but with a grateful eye to his production schedule said, "Aren't we lucky that we killed him off the day before yesterday?" Page 4, column 1, Shooting Stars. Tonight's edition, George Tobias. Hollywood's handsome heroes may be a joy, not forever. There's something transient about a pretty face. Sort of here today, gone tomorrow. Of a more permanent nature is the movie character actor. His roles have a variety that mellows rather than fades with the years. Not dependent on his romantic appeal, he finds himself cast as anything from a beachcomber to a flagpole sitter. Like Hollywood's version of the American cowboy, he almost never gets the girl. But girl or no girl, he's just about the busiest actor in all of Hollywood, and usually the best. For the simple reason that the hero can just stand and look pretty, while someone else does the acting. Here with us tonight is one of Hollywood's best-known character actors. He's already appeared in some 50 motion pictures, and before he's through, he'll probably outlive the screen life of half a dozen handsome heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present George Tobias.
Thank you, Irwin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
George, suppose we begin at the beginning and find out where all the character acting really started.
Well, back in New York, the neighborhood playhouse.
That was your home. You were born in New York, George?
Yes, sir.
You went to school there?
Went to school in New York.
Tell me, while you were going to school, were you any in the school dramatics?
No, but I used to recite.
Recite?
Yes, I was a pretty good reader.
A reader at that time was the early actors at it.
Yeah.
And this first professional appearance of yours at the neighborhood playhouse, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it wasn't very much.
How long did it last?
It lasted about 6 weeks. It was practically a walk-on. It was kind of a little bit that I prepared for about 3 weeks in advance. The makeup I was supposed to be a sea captain. And,
Yeah. You were sea captain in one of the plays, is that it?
yes, it was in a play of John Galloway. It was called The Mob. All I had to do was just walk across the stage, look at a poster, and then take the clay pipe out of my mouth.
No lines?
No lines at all, just pantomime.
That was weird.
I got a response from the audience. Quite a feeling.
I bet it was, George. And tell us, in that neighborhood playhouse, was that the time that you met some of Hollywood's people out there?
Well, the only one that I know of that is here now is Henry O'Neill.
Very fine actor, too, isn't he?
Wonderful actor.
And what about Louis Waldheim, one of your idols, I believe?
Yes, he was one of my idols. The greatest man I ever knew. I went to the Provincetown Theater after I left the neighborhood playhouse. Went into a play called The Hairy Ape by Eugene O'Neill. The Waldheim play, Believe It. And later on, he did What Price Glory Bears.
He taught you a lot of little tricks about the theater, didn't he?
Well, he didn't teach me any tricks about the theater. He had quite a bit to learn himself at the time. He began late in life, became an actor around about the age of 40, 42. And,
Kind of late to begin, isn't it?
well, he was a very brilliant man, and he had the talent. If you have the talent, it makes no difference when you begin.
Life begins at 40, even acting, huh?
That's right.
Well, tell me, in addition to working with Louis Waldheim in the neighborhood playhouse, you also did a number of legitimate shows in New York, on Broadway?
Well, it wasn't at the neighborhood playhouse.
No, I mean later on.
Yeah.
You were on in several legitimate shows in the East, before you came to Hollywood.
Well, I was on the stage for about almost 20 years.
Well, that's a nice short time, isn't it? And then, what happened? Did Hollywood beckon to you, or did you come to Hollywood, or how did it come about that you came out to the Golden Coast?
Well, Hollywood beckoned to me. I was, the last 6, 7 years, I was kind of busy back east. And I had no time to think of Hollywood or anything. It just happened to come up. He started clamoring, and agents started coming around, and he said, Hollywood wants you. And I said, well, I'm kind of busy. If they make it kind of important, and I have the time, I may come out.
They finally sold you on the idea, though, and you did come out.
Yes.